What's going on, Timberwolves fans? Tyrus here again. Welcome to Timberwolves Today. If you're new, thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you're returning, thanks for coming back to listen to me pretty much just rant about the Timberwolves. But that's what we do here in Minnesota. We don't win a ton. We do now with the Timberwolves, but not a lot of titles to talk for. So we talk about our favorite team. Pretty big thing to start off today's show. We have the fifth most nationally televised games this season. What I mean by that is four teams are tied for first, and we'd actually be tied with the second most with the Rockets. So it's fifth technically, but like Thunder, Warriors, Lakers, and Knicks all have 34, and we have 28 tied with the Rockets for that. Pretty cool. I'm not going to try to dismay the fact that we have 28 nationally televised games at all. I talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but we were giving away soup cans to get people in seats. Like, this team used to be in shambles before we got Anthony Edwards and the current roster surrounding him. So it's really cool to see a team that, was never America's sweetheart kind of become that, like all these guys want to be here now. Even Ant doesn't want out yet. It's probably going to happen, unfortunately, but it's super cool to see the Timberwolves get the spotlight that they deserve at this point. Back-to-back Western Conference champion. Wow, what a blunder that was. Not back-to-back Western Conference champions, back-to-back Western Conference finalists. I'm glad we're not hanging a banner for that, by the way. That would be embarrassing. That's like when the Colts did it for the AFC South finalists. They didn't win it. They were just a finalist. I don't even know what that means. Back to the Timberwolves. 28 nationally televised games. That is including some of the streaming stuff, but still 28 across streaming, ESPN, NBC, ABC. I think that's all of them, and obviously Prime and Peacock would be the streaming. But that's really impressive stuff, and nothing to slouch at for sure. I'm not going to try to stretch out any more talk on that, but I do have kind of a weird one for this next point here. The Timberwolves are traveling 41,000 miles roughly this next season. And at this point, I find that just to be interesting because, we always talk about, the Timberwolves need to move to the Eastern Conference League. They travel so far to play their games. We're sitting in the middle of the pack in terms of travel miles, and is that because we're so close to the Eastern Conference games we have to play and then far from the Western Conference games, so we actually do end up traveling more, or are we actually just where we're supposed to be? I still think, I'll get to it later, but I think they should move to the East eventually. But, I'm going to read the team that's traveling the most and the one that's traveling the least as well. The Magic are traveling 55,000 miles next season, and the Pacers are traveling 35. I think if we were in the East, we'd be somewhere along with the Pacers. The only reason we're getting stretched out is because we have to go to all of California, Portland. That's where those miles start to add up for us. But otherwise, everything's pretty central to us, especially the Eastern Conference games. Where the Magic one makes sense. They're down in Florida. They're way down there. It's, they're not even close to the Eastern Conference teams, I guess, other than Atlanta. Sorta, but they do have a lot of miles to go then. They got to fly a long ways just to get to Texas or California. I can't even imagine what the trip looks like to Portland. Won't try to pretend I know what that would look like. And then next, guys, we have a pretty good schedule for the first 5 games of the season. I really like it, but I also despise how the NBA does their seasons. So here are the first 5 games. First, we're playing Portland to open the season on Wednesday, the 22nd of October. Then we go Lakers, Pacers, Nuggets, Lakers. NBA, what are we doing? We have 29 other teams the Timberwolves can play, and you're going to make them play the same one twice in 5 games? Do you think that's going to make a rivalry? Do you think people are tuning in extra for those? Because, to me, it just comes off lazy. Oh, yeah, make them play them twice. We're not even staying out there. It would make sense if it was we're going to play the Lakers, and we'll play the Warriors, and we'll play the Lakers again. No, we're going to like in between there, we're going to Indiana. Oh, sorry, we're coming back home for a home stretch. Yeah, yeah, no, we have three. Those are three home games in a row. We go Pacers at home, Nuggets at home, Lakers at home. But then we open on the road with Portland Lakers. So I guess I have to take back everything I just said because I can't read. Portland down to LA, and then we go home for 3 games. But then you're making LA fly out like not even a week later to come to Minnesota again. Like, let's just get both our road games versus the Lakers out of the way then. I don't know. I never understand why they do that. Like, no one wants to see the same team play twice in a week unless they is like a good game or like one team got blown out. You know, the other one's going to win the next time. In my personal opinion, I don't see the vision. I'd rather play another team, and that way we can get a look at everyone through the season instead of catching 2 Lakers games in the first 5 games where one team may not look like the better one, and then we're heading into April and May and June being like, oh, how are they looking? Like, they saw each other back in October and the Lakers blew them out, or oh, the Wolves stomped them. Like, that means nothing. Like, the team that plays in October will not be the same team that plays in May. Like, I'll guarantee that. Like, that's just common sense, it feels like. But let's talk about the record that I think we can go on here. We're beating the Blazers. Without a doubt, that team stinks. Blazers will get beaten. Lakers in game 2, at home, probably a home opener for the Lakers would be my guess. That feels like a loss. So I'm going to say 1-1. Pacers at home, we're 2-1. Nuggets at home, toss up. I'm going to say we win and we go 3-1. And then the Lakers come to us and we go 4-1. But I'd say 4-1, 3-2 should be the goal. Anything less than 3-2 is an absolute failure to open the season. And fans will be mad, even though there's like 77 more games after that to play out the rest of the season. Fans will be mad if we are looking at a 1-4 start to the season. And that's just the truth. Like, I will probably be mad, and then I'll have to calm myself down and convince myself that the other 70 plus games are going to be more important than these first 5, which they are. They are, but no one wants to see their team lose to start. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Lastly, here today, we have a bit of something that I've been talking about. Everyone else talks about it, and I feel like it's going to happen. And when expansion happens, we're kind of assuming, unless something horribly changes, I think Seattle and Las Vegas will get the NBA expansion teams. Like, I know they're probably going to want to add one to the East just to make it balanced, but the West is crowded. It is. We got to push one of those teams east, whether it's Memphis, New Orleans, or Minnesota. Someone is going east to help, elevate the Eastern Conference. And then the West can have the 2 new teams, and it could be like, oh, they have to battle it through the West. Like, that makes a lot more sense than just being like, oh, let's give Louisville a team, and then they can be in the East, or let's give Pittsburgh a team, or Baltimore, or wherever else they want to try to place a team over there, And then also, like, it would kind of help the Timberwolves. Like, yeah, they'd have to travel. They wouldn't, like, they'd be able to travel a little bit better almost. Like, they wouldn't have to plan so many Western Conference trips to go all the way out there and stay for so long. And then we'd get some closer to home games and whatever, Like, if we were to move to the East, I'd assume, and we add 2 teams, we'd have 4 conferences or 4 divisions in each conference. And so it'd be like us, Detroit, Milwaukee, Chicago would be my guess. I think that, yeah, then that would be pretty good for everyone's travel, Like, you would get to play a little bit closer to home, less travel for all those, whatever you want to say. But it makes the most sense. Like, and I don't even know what an expansion draft would look like. I think it's 8 players that get protected. Like, those expansion teams are going to be stinky. They're going to be real bad to start unless they get a high draft pick and, they're a generational player waiting to be drafted in the actual draft. Otherwise, you're going to get everyone's aging veterans or young guys that they don't feel like they can protect. So, not probably going to be the greatest experiment to, to see what an expansion will look like. So, just put 2 bad teams in the West. The West doesn't have so many good teams then. and then East gets another good team. And you know what I mean? Like the Timberwolves, I think with our record last year, we would have been third in the Eastern Conference, but instead we were sitting at like seventh. We're not seventh. We're sitting at sixth in the West by the end of the season. Like that's unforgivable almost. Like the owners will never allow it to just be the top 16 teams get the top 16 seeds because they want a fair balance of West versus East forever because the East teams need a fair chance against the West teams. Instead of elevating themselves, they'd rather just battle it out with the worst teams. So that's kind of my thought on it all. And I do think that the Timberwolves will be in the Eastern Conference by the time we have 2 expansion teams. Just my thoughts. It makes sense to me. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments. And to end today's video, I think he played only a couple games for us. That'd be Rick Barry's son, Cannon Barry. I will see you guys next time.